welcome to the Peacock Homestead. And if you're new here, my name is Elizabeth. And in this week's video, I'm actually going to be joining Jessica and a whole bunch of other families. And we are going to be participating with her over at the Three Rivers Homestead in the Pantry Challenge. She's been doing that for quite a while, and I'm excited to challenge myself. So we're going to try to use up some of the goodies over here that I have canned up in the past couple of years, especially last year and the year before, because I made a bunch of spaghetti sauce. I don't think we'll quite get through all the jams and jellies, but that's fine. But we're going to try to work our way through our freezers and just get things cleared out for the next season of canning and preserving. So I'll be doing that in the month of January and February. I'll still be making cheese and doing herbal medicine and just doing all the homestead things. We have a few projects that we need to work on. We need to still put our kitchen sink in and finish the kitchen, put the counters in, and all that fun stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, let's get into the video. Happy New Year, friends. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your new year. We have a bunch of projects that we need to finish up for this year. We need to put the wood stove in. We need to get the countertops up. I'm just making room and putting the tree away because we need to get our butcher block all cut for the counter, and we're going to put some layers of lacquer on it so I like it nice and shiny and waterproof. I'm also starting the new year off feral, so I don't have that many resolutions, but I do have a few in mind. So for this week on the Pantry Challenge, the first week, I started off making some of our homemade raspberry sourdough thumbprint jam cookies. So I'm just getting those all shaped up. I have the recipe on my blog, and I'll pop it down in the show notes below. So I'm just going to roll these into equal little balls, about a tablespoon and a half each. And then I seen Joan do this over at the Rise and Shine Suburban Homestead, and that is such a good idea. I'm using a teaspoon measurement, and I am just imprinting each one of those so the jam can fit in there pretty snugly. And then we are gonna get these filled and pop these in the oven. And I'm using the jam that I canned from last year. I made a little batch of raspberry jam because raspberries are so expensive, so I just had a few left, so I was lucky to have these. These are actually mine and my hub's favorite cookie. You can actually use any type of jam, whatever works for you, and whatever you have in your pantry, it works really wonderful. And they turn out super delicious. They actually disappeared pretty fast. We've actually been getting quite a bit of snow. We've had to plow at least 3 times. But that's okay. The hubs got a 4-wheeler just for that because our backs were kind of getting worn out from all that shoveling every winter. And it's nice to have something convenient that would help you save your back, that is for sure. I just want to show you how beautiful it was that day. The sun was finally out, and the chickens are not stepping a toe out of their coop, but that's okay. They seem pretty content, and the goaty girls, they're nice and warm in their little house over there. And of course I got Jack, my little helper, and he is just a little snow bunny. He loves the snow. You're trapped now. Ooh. Hi, honey. So the hubs requested stroganoff, and I didn't have any stroganoff noodles, so I have plenty of eggs for my chickies. My new girls are actually laying eggs every day, so I'm getting about 10 to 12 eggs every day, and that's quite a bit, so I gotta use them up. I got the recipe for the pasta from the book called Pasta Grannies, and it is an amazing book. And it's a pretty super simple recipe. It's 400 grams of flour. That's about 3 1/3 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, and then 4 eggs. And then I let the pasta rest for a good half an hour to an hour, and then I start to roll it out. And I didn't want to run it through the cutter, so I'm running it through the pasta machine right now, and I'm just getting it to long sheets, and then I was gonna go ahead and roll them and cut them by hand, and it makes it so much easier. And if you don't have a pasta machine, I've actually rolled these out by hand. They're a little bit thicker, so you really gotta roll it out a lot to get it thin like this. I'm super thankful for my pasta machine. It has made some wonderful dishes, and I can't wait to make some new dishes. So I got this little hanger as well. I'm just pulling them down, and we're gonna roll these up into kind of like a fruit roll-up kind of shape and give them a cut and pull them apart. I'm not even gonna let them dry because I'm gonna pop these in boiling water, and it is really fast when you make homemade pasta. When you cook it, it goes really fast. You cook it to, if you have thin strips like this, it takes about 1 to 3 minutes to cook, and it is delicious. If you've never had homemade pasta, I do suggest trying to make it. It turns out amazing, and you'll never look back. So I made a lasagna. I made an ugly chicken lasagna before, and it turned out so delicious. So all I did was I made the sheets of lasagna. I boiled them up, and I just assembled my dish and popped it in the oven, and that was the bee's knees as well. That was so good. But this, you can dry this and let it sit overnight and then package it and have it for another time. And that's what I love about making food from scratch. You can use it for a different meal another time if you have leftovers. And of course, we always have leftovers because I don't know, I think it's just something in my DNA. I always have to make a little bit extra. I don't know why, it just ends up being that way. So here I have hamburger all browned up and garlic and onions. I'm adding some milk and heavy cream. It's a beef stroganoff, so I'm just gonna be adding a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I added some flour here for thickener. And then I'm just gonna let that get thick, and then we are gonna serve it over the noodles. And I did put a little dash of chili flake in there just for a little bitty kick. And it turned out super delicious. I'll be putting this on the menu for a future dish. Come on. So here we love having homemade bagels for breakfast, and I sometimes cook English muffins, and I also am making biscuits and whatnot just for us to have a quick, easy breakfast. So this is what we made for this week. I just made a batch of plain sourdough bagels, and I made a couple loaves of sourdough bread, and that'll get us along for a week and a half, because we like to have it for toast in the morning, for sandwiches. Sometimes we'll have breakfast casseroles, French toast breakfast casseroles, and we have grilled cheese sandwiches and soup. It's just super handy to have a nice homemade loaf of bread in the freezer for when you're ready to make the next meal. One of my favorite things to do is thrifting, and a lot of the times I don't have time to go thrift shopping because I'm stuck at work or I'm stuck doing projects at the house. So I like to order on eBay. They have a ton of antiques, and I needed to order some cheese supplies as well because I've gotten into cheese making this year, and I really love it. I made so many cheeses this year. So this is one of the cultures. I'll hopefully be making a Stilton blue cheese this year. And I also ordered some cheese wax because I'm getting into that. I ordered a pound of orange and 2 pounds of the red cheese wax. It takes a little bit more time and patience to wax your cheese, but it is worth it. I love the results you get from a wax cheese. You don't have to babysit it so much, and it turns out super delicious. One of my New Year's resolutions is to hang up my clothes this year on the clothesline. I'll be saving money on electric, and we all know how expensive electric is. So I purchased these old-fashioned clothes hangers, and you can make crafts with them, but I'm going to be using them to hang up my clothes. So I thought they were neat, and I also thought they were pretty practical because they won't break. I always have problems with my little clips breaking, and I have to put them back together, and it is such a pain. So I figured that would be perfect. And I ordered this old-fashioned salt holder. So it has a Germany stamp on it. I thought it was so beautiful, and I'm so excited. I keep on having to refill my little salt holder, so I figured this big one would be perfect. And I also ordered this really cute butter dish. I wanted one with 4 legs on it, and I found the perfect one, so I'm super excited about that. So here I'm just going to make some of your basic barbecue chicken. I have some chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs, and I'm just sprinkling some of the Kinder's honey brown sugar on top, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to be using the barbecue sauce that I can this year. I got some plums from the Amish, and I didn't want to make any plum jam because I had plenty of jam, so I decided to make a barbecue sauce, and I'm just going to slather that on top and pop it in the oven. So I'd usually just go by what it looks like on the inside, but this year I've been using a thermometer a lot. Since I have my cheese thermometer, might as well use it. And I'm gonna take some carrots and beets from the garden that I harvest this year, and we are gonna roast those. So I had a ton of ice in there, so I just took out the ice after this and I just popped it back in the fridge. It was fine. But these carrots and beets turned out so amazing. I can't wait for the gardening season next year. I'm adding a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper and some olive oil because I'm roasting them in the oven at 375, and I just go by what they look like, and they turned out beautiful. So with the beets, what I did before I preserved them, I washed them and I boiled them for a few minutes to peel the skins off, and then I froze them. And for the carrots, I just blanched them and put them right in the freezer. And this is what the chicken looked like, and that turned out super amazing. That plum barbecue sauce gives it a flavor that you really can't buy at the store. And this is what dinner looked like on that night. So here I had a whole bunch of garlic left over from my garden because I used the garlic that I got from the Amish food market, or the food auction, and I used that to plant in my garden. So I have 3 beds planted, and I had all this leftover garlic from my garden. I got some honey, I got a jar, and we are gonna make a little honey infused garlic, so that will be super beneficial to your health. You could take it if you're feeling like a tickle in the back of your throat, and you could just actually use it for cooking as well to get it in you if you can't really take a spoonful, because it is going to be super strong. But garlic is so good for you, and it is a really amazing culinary and medicinal herb. So I got my garlic all chopped up, and I was just going to top this off with honey, give it a little mix, and I'm going to let it infuse for a couple days and pop it in my fridge and use it whenever I need it. So garlic and honey has been used traditionally in herbal medicine around the world. The main ingredient in garlic is allicin. It contains oxygen, sulfur, and chemicals that give garlic antibacterial and disease-fighting properties. In order to get the best results out of your garlic for medicinal use, you want to give it a nice chop. I have kind of a thick chop in there, but that will release the allicin in the garlic. And the honey is actually naturally high in antioxidants as well. Honey helps with inflammation, redness, and swelling, and helps balance your immune system, preventing certain illnesses. And it is also an antibacterial, an antiviral, and also an antifungal. So this is an amazing herbal medicine, And don't forget to label your jar, because you'll know what it is, but you won't know the date. So I have to figure out what to do with all these other cloves of garlic, and I decided I was just gonna pop them in this quart jar and fill it with olive oil, and then I can use it for different dishes as I go. And then I can use that for different culinary dishes or herbal medicine. Well, I'm just going to store this in the refrigerator. And the way that you can tell if you have real olive oil is if it solidifies in the fridge. And it definitely solidified in there, but that is okay. I'm just going to take it out with a spoon and then chop it up and use it as I go. And don't forget to label. So the last dinner that I was going to show you is my tried and true pizza. So right here I have my pizza dough that I stored in the fridge. It is actually half white, half wheat. Then I got some goodies for the top, and this is one of the Stilton cheese that I had bought at Aldi's a few weeks ago, so I needed to use that up. Then I have some pizza sauce from last year. I had just put a different top on it and I labeled it. And I cooked some sausage up, and now we're gonna get to decorating this pizza. And I do plan on making a Stilton cheese soon. But first I wanted to try it out, so I had purchased one a few weeks ago at Aldi's, and it is delicious. I'm gonna be making some blue cheese dressing. I'm putting it on this pizza. We've had it on some other things, and I am pumped up to make it now. So hopefully this month I will be making a Stilton cheese. So I'm just decorating it with some of that mozzarella cheese. I pulled that out of the freezer and thawed it out. I got some blue cheese I'm gonna sprinkle on there now, and then it's gonna be a grown-up pizza, so I got some olives that I'm putting on it. I do love putting pickled things on top of my pizza, since it's just the hubs and I, and he's pretty easy to please, so that's what we're doing today. And then I'm gonna sprinkle some garlic around the edge of the pizza, because that makes it really tasty. And then I almost forgot that I had some spices from my garden, and I'm gonna add some thyme. So this is the thyme from my garden. I didn't even garble the leaves off the stems, but that's okay. I just kind of crammed it in there and labeled it, and I had a little bit sprinkled on top. And I'm gonna get this in the oven, and then we are going to enjoy this amazing pizza. So I cooked this in my oven at 425 for about 15 minutes. That makes the bottom nice and crispy, and it turned out so delicious. And I'm so happy to show you guys all of my meals that I made this week. We usually have a lot of leftovers, so I'll try to bring you at least a couple dinners each week, and maybe a dessert here and there. And I'll be showing you some cheese making still and some homesteading projects. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Many blessings, and I will see you on the next one, friends.